Hi guys, welcome back. It's good to see you on Kids Rock Online. We're really glad that we can be together for these few minutes. This week we're talking about how God is so creative. Creative means that you make stuff, really cool stuff. Well, God's so creative, He makes stuff out of nothing. We just always use things to make stuff that's really creative. But if you open your Bible to the very first page, the first chapter in the book of Genesis, it talks about all the things that God created. And the most important thing at the end of the chapter, he made people. And He made you, and He made me, and He made us, a little piece of us is in His image. And we're going to talk about how creative God is and how we can tell by how God made some of us, each of us, with a little piece of His image today. Now, I showed you some stuff a few seconds ago, and they all have something in common, but I bet you didn't figure out what it was. Everything that I showed you before has one thing in common. They're all made from corn. Can you believe that? Well, sure, the can of corn that you put on the stove and heat up, I actually love corn. That is made of corn, that's true, but you don't think of toothpaste or licorice or window cleaner or wax paper being made with corn either, but the ingredients of each one of those items has corn in it. And in the same way, God's image is in each one of us. Sometimes it's harder to see than others, but in every single person, even though we don't do the same thing, we don't look the same, we don't even act the same, we don't have the same function. In other words, we don't have the same job to do in God's body, but we are all made in the image of God. I want to give you an assignment here. First, I want to show you something creative that a friend of mine made for me this week. I want you to see this beautiful watercolor painting. Now, how old do you think this artist is? She's only 5. Can you believe that? Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. It's on my fridge because I love it. Her name is Mariah, and she gave it to me this week, and I love it. And I also love God's creation. This week we've had a chance to travel to many different places, and we saw, I can't even count how many whole different types of trees we saw. Well, we had a lot of traveling to do. But we saw a palm tree, you know what that looks like, right? The tall skinny trunk and all the little fluffy leaves on top. Yep, saw a palm tree, saw a Joshua tree, saw a redwood, saw a gnarly old cedar. It grew straight up and then all the branches went all weird like this. And then pine trees and oak trees and all different kinds of trees. And I always wonder, how come God made more than one kind of tree? He could have just made a pine tree and that could have been it. He could have said, okay, I'm done making trees now. And instead, He made all these different kinds of trees. And I think it's because He's creative. And I'm really glad that He's creative. If you read through Genesis, there's different things God created at different times, and this is where you get to play a game. So find a die, like a dice. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll bring you one.